of this Islamic seminar that has been put forward by the Milton Keynes Muslim Association. And this is a seminar, a series that specializes and has direct relevance to marital relations and family relations. And during this conference, we'll look at some of the rulings that relate to marital relations and the family, and also some of the etiquettes therein. And today's lecture, the start-off lecture, we're going to focus on marriage, its rulings, and its etiquettes.
الزواج نعمة عظيمة أنعم الله بها على عباده.
Marriage is a great blessing that Allah the Most High has bestowed upon His worshippers and His slaves.
وهو اقتران مشروط بين رجل وامرأة.
And it's a type of agreement or a type of contract that has certain conditions to it between a man and a woman.
وقد ذكر الله عز وجل هذا الأمر وبين أنه من نعم الله عز وجل على عباده كما في سورة النحل في الآية 72. قال تعالى
And Allah the Most High, He has mentioned that this matter, i.e. the matter of marriage, it's from the great virtues and the great blessings that He has bestowed upon His slaves. And He mentions in the chapter An-Nahl, the chapter of the bee, He mentions the 72nd verse of this chapter.
قال تعالى والله جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا وجعل لكم من أزواجكم بنين وحفدة ورزقكم من الطيبات أفبالباطل يؤمنون وبنعمة الله هم يكفرون.
Allah the Most High says in this verse of the Quran, that which means, and Allah has made for you spouses of your own kind and given you through your spouses children and grandchildren, and He has granted you good, lawful provisions. Are they then faithful to falsehood and ungrateful for Allah's favors?
فبين سبحانه وتعالى أن هذا الزواج وما ينتج منه من ذرية هو نعمة من نعم الله عز وجل على عباده.
So here Allah the Most High, He explains and makes manifest that this act and this covenant, this agreement of marriage, it's a blessing from His blessings that He bestows upon His slaves.
وبين سبحانه وتعالى أن هذه النعمة أوجدها حين أوجد آدم أول ما خلقه في السماء.
And He explains the Most High that this blessing is a blessing that He bestowed or He made when He created Adam, when he was in the heavens.
قال سبحانه وتعالى في مطلع سورة النساء يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا.
And Allah the Most High says at the beginning of the chapter of the Quran, An-Nisa, the chapter of the women, He says that which means, O humanity, be mindful of your Lord who created you from a single soul, and from it He created its mate, and through both He spread countless men and women, and be mindful of Allah, in whose name you appeal to one another, and honor family ties. Indeed, Allah is ever watchful over you.
عودا إلى آية سورة النحل، يقول العلامة ابن كثير رحمه الله تعالى في تفسيره لهذه الآية: والله جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا، قال أي يسترون، يعني بقوله وبنعمة الله هم يكفرون، قال يسترون نعم الله عليهم ويضيفونها إلى غيره.
So if for a moment we return to the first of the two verses that I recited upon you, and that was the verse that's in the chapter of the B, where Allah the Most High, He says that which means, and indeed Allah has made for you spouses of your own kind, and given you through your spouses children and grandchildren, and has granted for you good lawful provisions. Are they then faithful to falsehood and ungrateful to Allah? The Imam and the scholar of Islam, Ibn Kathir, he explains this verse, and he says, those people who are faithful to falsehood are those who cover and are unmindful of the blessings that Allah the Most High has bestowed upon them. And then in addition to this, they ascribe those benefits and those blessings to other than Allah by saying that they are from other than He.
وفي الحديث عند مسلم عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن الله تعالى يقول للعبد يوم القيامة ممتنا عليه مبينا أن هذه منة من الله ومنحة من الله وفضل من الله، يقول له ألم أزوجك، ألم أكرمك، ألم أسخر لك الخيل والإبل وأذرك ترأس وتربع، تربع أن يكون عندك زراعة ورغد العيش. فبدأ بذكر أعظم النعم وهي الزواج، قال ألم أزوجك.
And also in the hadith that Imam Muslim rahimahullah has collected in his Sahih on the authority of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, where the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he explained that when Allah the Most High in the hereafter, He says to the slave and He shows to the slave the blessings that He has bestowed upon the slave. Allah the Most High says, did I not enable you to get married? Did I not facilitate that for you? Did I not ennoble you? Was I not generous to you? Did I not give you camels that you could use? Did I not enable you to grow crops and eat on the earth? So in these blessings that Allah the Most High mentions to the slave, the first one and the one that He begins with, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the blessing of marriage.
والزواج آية على وحدانية الله جل في علاه، كما قال سبحانه وتعالى في سورة الروم، قال في الآية 20 والآية 21: ومن آياته أن خلقكم من تراب ثم إذا أنتم بشر تنتشرون ومن آياته أن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يتفكرون.
And in this act of marriage, within this institution, there is an indication and an evidence of the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah mentions this in the chapter of the Romans, Surah Ar-Rum. He mentions that which means, and indeed from His signs is that He created you from dust. And behold, you are human beings spreading over the earth. And one of His signs, continuing, this is in the 21st verse, and one of His signs is that He created for you spouses from among yourselves so that you may find comfort in them. And He has placed between you, i.e. between the spouses, compassion and mercy. Surely in this are signs for people who reflect.
يقول الإمام الطبري رحمه الله تعالى في تفسير هذه الآية، يقول تعالى ذكره ومن حججه وأدلته على ذلك أيضا خلقه لأبيكم آدم من نفسه زوجة ليسكن إليها، وذلك أنه خلق حواء من ضلع من أضلاع آدم.
And the Imam, the Mufassir, the explainer of the Quran, Ibn Jarir al-Tabari. Shall I spell that for you? Yeah. Tabari. He mentions in explanation of the verse, i.e. from the evidences of Allah upon his creation, is that he created, from the evidences that Allah the Most High made the spouse as a means for comfort for the other spouse, is that he made for Adam his partner Hawa. So he made for Adam Eve, and Allah the Most High made Eve from the bent rib of Adam.
والزواج ستر لكل من الزوجين، لذا سماه الله عز وجل في كتابه العزيز لباسا. قال تعالى في سورة البقرة في الآية 87 بعد 100: أحل لكم ليلة الصيام الرفث إلى نسائكم هن لباس لكم وأنتم لباس لهن.
And the act of marriage or the agreement of marriage, it is an adornment, i.e. it's a good adornment, like a good wearing of clothes for both of the partners. And this is how Allah the Most High has mentioned it in the Quran, where he has mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, the verse 137, 87, 187, where he says that, which means, and permitted for you on the night of your fasting is to have relations with your wives. They are an adornment for you, and you are an adornment for them.
يقول الإمام القرطبي رحمه الله تعالى في كتابه الجامع لأحكام القرآن، قال: أصل اللباس في الثياب، ثم سمي امتزاج كل واحد من الزوجين بصاحبه لباسا لانضمام الجسد لانضمام الجسدين وامتزاجهما وتلازمهما تشبيها بالثوب.
And the scholar, the explainer of the Quran, Al-Imam Al-Qurtubi, Qurtubi, he mentions in his book, Al-Jami' fi Ahkam al-Quran, his book explaining the Quran, he mentions that the root meaning and the first meaning of this word, an adornment, is that it's clothes. So it's clothes. Allah the Most High, he mentions that this act of marriage is like the person wearing nice clothes, because the act of marriage is like the joining of two bodies and the connection of two bodies. And it's as though it's like the individual wearing clothes over their own body so that they become one.
وقال أيضا وقال بعضهم أي بعض المفسرين يقال لما ستر الشيء وداراه لباس. الشيء الذي يستر ويداري عن أعين الناس يسمى لباس. فجائز أن يكون كل واحد منهما سترا لصاحبه عما لا يحل كما ورد في الخبر. وقيل لأن كل واحد منهما ستر لصاحبه فيما يكون بينهما من الجماع من أبصار الناس. وقال أبو عبيد وغيره من علماء التفسير: يقال للمرأة هي لباسك وفراشك وإزارك.
And some of the explainers of the Quran, they say that the wife and the husband, they are each referred as adorning clothes. And one of the meanings of this libas, or these adorning clothes, are those things that cover and protect from others. So it's as though that each of the two partners are a veil for each other. So they do not allow anything that is impermitted to be seen or to be heard, and they protect. It's as though they protect their partner from the private things that none should know about their partner. And an example of this is those things, for example, that take place between them in intimate relations. And the scholar Abu Ubaid, Abuubayd, he says that indeed your wife, she is a form of clothing, nice adorned clothing for you. She is also your bed, and she is also your lower garment.
والزواج متعة جعلها الله لكل من الزوجين في الدنيا. قال تعالى في سورة الحجر: لا تمدن عينيك، في سورة الحجر الآية 88: لا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم ولا تحزن عليهم واخفض جناحك للمؤمنين. وقال أيضا في سورة طه في الآية 31: ولا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم زهرة الحياة الدنيا لنفتنهم فيه ورزق ربك خير وأبقى.
And this act of getting married is something that Allah the Most High has made for each pairing in the life of this world. So Allah the Most High says in Surah Al-Hijr, the Hajr, the 88th verse, that which means, do not let your eyes crave the fleeting pleasures we have provided for some of the disbelievers, nor grieve for them, and be gracious to the believers. And then Allah the Most High also says in the chapter Taha, Taha, that which means al-ayah 131.
عفوا 131.
The verse 131, Allah the Most High says that which means, do not let your eyes crave what we have allowed some of the disbelievers to enjoy, the fleeting splendor of this worldly life, which we test them with. But your Lord's provision in the hereafter is far better and more lasting.
قال في الحديث عن أنس رضي الله عنه أن الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: حبب إلي النساء والطيب وجعلت قرة عيني في الصلاة. رواه النسائي وصححه الألباني.
And on the authority of Anas, Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, indeed, the things that have been made beloved to me in this dunya, in this life, are women and a good smell, but the most favorable thing to my eye and the most beautiful thing to my eye is the prayer. It was reported by Imam al-Nasa'i and authenticated by Sheikh al-Albani rahimahullah.
ومعنى قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم حبب إلي النساء أي الزوجات، فهو لم يكن يبغض زوجته بل كان يحب زوجاته ويتحبب إليهن، أي يصنع ما يحملهن على حبه لا على بغضه. ولهذا قال في الحديث: خيركم خيركم لأهله وأنا خيركم لأهلي.
And the meaning of the hadith that women have been made beloved to me, this is in reference to his wives. So he, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace and blessings be upon him, he never used to detest his wives, rather he used to love them. And he used to do those things that would cause them to love him. So there is a mutual type of love between them. And this is as the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said in the hadith, in the report, the best of you are those who are best of you to their families, and I am the best of you to my family.
والزواج سبب لتقوية العلاقات بين الناس.
And marriage is a means of strengthening the ties that are between people.
قال الله تعالى في سورة الفرقان في الآية 54: وهو الذي خلق من الماء بشرا فجعله نسبا وصهرا وكان ربك قديرا.
And Allah the Most High, he says in the chapter of the Al-Furqan, F-U-R-Q-A-N, the criterion. All right. F-U-R-Q-A-N. You're welcome. The chapter called the criterion. He says in the 54th verse of this chapter, that which means, and he is the one who creates human beings from a humble liquid, then establishes for them bonds of kinship and marriage. For indeed, your Lord is the most capable.
قال ابن قتيبة في تفسير هذه الآية: نسبا أي قرابة النسب.
Ibn Qutayba, I-B-N Q-U-T-A-Y-B-A, he says, when it's referenced here, he has established bonds of kinship, i.e. the relationships that you have and the relatives that you have. Yeah, Allah the Most High has created these as bonds for you.
وصهرا أي قرابة النكاح، يعني النسب ما يكون من جهة أبيك وأمك، والنكاح ما يكون من جهة زوجتك والدها وكذا، فهذا يكون والدها أعمامها أخوالها، يكون قرابتك منهم صهرا.
So here Allah the Most High, he has said that he has made the relations of two types: bonds of kinship, i.e. and they are the bonds that you have through your relatives, so through your mother and your father. So the bonds that you have are the ties of your relatives through your mother and your father and your family. And the other bonds that you have are those that are through marriage. And here this is the family that you have through your wife or through your husband, i.e. their family. So they become part of your bondship and part of your family.
ويعبر عن قرابة النسب بالأرحام، فإذا قيل صلة الأرحام تعني كل من تجمعك به رحم، وهم قراباتك من جهة أبيك وأمك.
And in Arabic, the relations that you have or the relatives that you have, that are your blood relatives, they are called in Arabic al-arham. So you could spell that A-R-H-A-A-M, al-arham. So these are the relatives that you have that are connected via your mother or your father.
والزواج هو السبب الشرعي لبقاء وزيادة الجنس البشري.
And marriage is the means, the legislated means for the maintaining and the continuation of humankind.
لذا يقول الله عز وجل: والله جعل لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا وجعل لكم من أزواجكم بنين وحفدة، كما في آية النحل الآية 72.
And Allah the Most High says in reference to this in Surah An-Nahl, which is the chapter of the bee, the verse 72, he says that, which means, and Allah has made for you spouses of your own kind and given you through your spouses children and grandchildren. And he has granted you good lawful provisions. Are they then faithful to falsehood and ungrateful for Allah's favors?
وفي الحديث عن معقل بن يسار رضي الله عنه قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: تزوجوا الودود الولود فإني مكاثر بكم الأنبياء يوم القيامة، أي أنه يدعو للتكاثر حتى يكون أكثر الأنبياء أتباعا.
And in the hadith, the narration of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, on the authority of Ma'qal bin Yasar, and that could be spelt MAQUBINYASAAR, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, get married. He gave a commandment and an order to marry the women who are loving and the women who are strong in their childbearing, i.e. they have many children. So marry these types of women, for indeed I will be the Prophet who will have the most followers in the hereafter. So here the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was ordering the Muslims to get married and have lots of children so that his followers would be many in the hereafter.
وفيما يلي نتكلم عن أحكام تتعلق بالزواج.
And now we'll look and talk about some of the rulings that pertain to marriage.
فأول ما ينبغي للمرء أن يفعله هو الاختيار الصحيح للزوجة، وولي المرأة يقوم بالاختيار الصحيح لزوج موليته.
So the first of those things that we have to pay particular attention to is choosing and electing and selecting a good wife. And it's upon the wali, the male representative or the male guardian of the female, to choose for her the best and most suitable partner for her.
وفي الحديث في حديث أبي هريرة المخرج عند البخاري ومسلم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: تنكح المرأة لأربع، أي لأربعة أسباب. ينكحها الرجال لأحد أربعة أسباب: لمالها، أي أن تكون غنية فهو يريد أن يستنفع من مالها، ولحسبها، أن تكون من أسرة ذات حسب ونسب كبيرة معروفة عريقة، يستفيد هو من هذا الحسب حتى يكسب منعة من أن يؤذيه أحد، لكونه هو صهر لهؤلاء العائلة الكبيرة المعروفة. وجمالها، أي أن تكون ذات جمال وهو يطمع في امرأة جميلة. ولدينها، أو أن تكون متدينة وهو يريدها من أجل هذا السبب. ثم أرشد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إلى السبب الذي ينبغي أن ينظر الرجل من أجله للزواج بتلك المرأة، فقال: فاظفر بذات الدين تربت يداك أي خسرت يداك إن لم تأخذ ذات الدين.
And it's been mentioned in the hadith, the report reported by Abu Huraira, which you could spell Abuhurairah, on the authority of Abu Huraira, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, indeed, women are wed or are married for 4 reasons, one of 4 reasons. And the meaning of this is that men marry women for 4 reasons. The first is for their wealth, so that the husband or the one desiring to marry her will benefit from her wealth and will be able to live a good life. The second, that they are married for their lineage, and the benefit or the meaning of the lineage is that they are from a well-known family or a powerful family or an influential family, and the individual may wish to marry her for this reason, so they can reap the benefits of that, so that if there are any problems or if anyone takes issue with them, they have protection because they belong to this particular family that is of importance and is of influence. The third reason that women are married is due to their beauty. So it could be that the individual, he wants to marry a wife who is pleasing to his eye. So for this reason, he marries her. And the fourth reason that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, told us about was for purposes of the religion. So it might be that he wants to marry a religious, pious wife who is close to Allah the Most High. And then after mentioning these 4 reasons, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, guided us to the best of these 4 reasons. And he said, choose the one who has religion, or you will lose out. I.e., if you marry a woman for any of these other reasons other than her deen and her religion, then you will lose out.
وهذا الاختيار واجب ليس أمرا مندوبا إليه فحسب، بل هو واجب، لأن المرأة الصالحة ستسعى لإسعادك ولحفظ ذريتك وبيتك، وأيضا حفظ نفسها. قال تعالى في سورة النساء في الآية 34:
And this choosing, تعالوا شيخنا اختيار الدين واجب أم الاختيار؟
لا، اختيار الدين، اختيار ذات الدين واجب.
So this choosing and this electing a woman for the reason of her religiousness and her closeness to Allah the Most High, it's something that is obligatory upon the individual. It's not something that is simply recommended. And this is because the righteous woman and the righteous wife, she will hasten to support you in appropriate ways. In the ways that you need support, she will help you. So for example, she will safeguard your lineage. She will safeguard the children. She will also safeguard herself. And Allah the Most High says in the chapter of the women, and it's verse number 34,
فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله.
أربعة وثلاثون شيخنا.
أيوه.
نعم وجدته. Yeah, Allah the Most High says, and righteous women are devoutly obedient, and when alone, protective of what Allah the Most High has entrusted them with.
وفي الحديث عند مسلم من حديث عبد الله بن عمرو بن العاص أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: الدنيا متاع وخير متاعها المرأة الصالحة.
And in the hadith that's been reported or collected by Imam Muslim, may Allah have mercy upon him, on the authority of Abdullah ibn IBN Amr AMR ibn IBN Al AAS, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. He said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, indeed, the life of this world is a mata, is a kind of, is a seeking of pleasure, and the best seeking of pleasure is a woman, a righteous, المرأة صالحة. Yeah, the righteous woman.
وأيضا جاء في الحديث عن عائشة رضي الله عنها مخرج عند ابن ماجه بسند صححه الألباني، قال الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: تخيروا لنطفكم وانكحوا الأكفاء وأنكحوا إليهم، يعني زوجوا الأكفاء، والأكفاء جمع كفؤ، وتزوجوا منهم من بناتهم، إذا تقدموا إليكم زوجوهم، وإذا رغبتم في الزواج فتزوجوا من بناتهم.
شيخنا كيف في النصل أو
لا، في الدين، في الدين.
أثابكم الله.
الخلق.
أثابكم الله. And on the authority of Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, in a hadith that was collected by Imam Ibn Majah, IBN MAJAH, and was authenticated by Sheikh Al-Albani, ALBANI, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, marry the woman who is similar to you or on the same level as you in terms of her character and her religion, and also marry from their children. So marry the next generation from the same type.
وأخرج البغوي في شرح السنة أن رجلا جاء إلى الحسن البصري فقال: إن لي بنتا أحبها وقد خطبها غير واحد، فمن تشير علي أن أزوجها؟ قال: زوجها رجلا يتقي الله، فإنه إن أحبها أكرمها، وإن أبغضها لم يظلمها.
And the scholar Al-Imam Al-Baghawi, BAGHAWI, he mentions in one of his books, Sharh Sunnah, SHARHUSSUNNAH, he mentions the narration on the authority of Hassan al-Basri, BASRI, that a man went to Al-Hassan and he said to him, I have a daughter, and there are many men who come and they put forward their case that they want to marry her. So who should I marry my daughter to? Al-Hassan responded to him and he said that indeed you should marry your daughter to someone who has the quality of taqwa, TAQWA, and that's the quality of having consciousness of Allah the Most High, that leads them to do the things that Allah the Most High has ordered and refrain and stay away from those things He has prohibited. So Al-Hassan, he gave the advice that he should marry his daughter to someone who has this quality. And he said, for indeed, if the man has this quality, if he loves her, he will be very, very generous to her. But if he doesn't love her, but he has this quality of consciousness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in him, and he doesn't love his wife, he will never oppress her.
وفي الحديث عند ابن ماجه من حديث أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: إذا أتاكم من ترضون خلقه ودينه فزوجوه إلا تفعلوا تكن فتنة في الأرض وفساد عريض.
And it's been collected by Imam Ibn Majah, IBN MAJAH, on the authority of Abu Hurairah, ABU HURAIRAH, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if an individual comes to you seeking marriage and their religion and their character pleases you, then marry your daughters to them, or get them married. And if you're not to do this, then indeed fasad, ruin, will spread amongst the earth or upon the earth.
والمقصود بدين الرجل ودين المرأة هنا، أو صلاح الرجل وصلاح المرأة، أي ما كان موافقا للقرآن والسنة، كان على التوحيد، ليس فقط تدينا يعني ممارسة، وإنما أن يكون على هدي نبوي. فقد كان أحد رواة الحديث له ابنة عم على طريقة المعتزلة، فأحبها وأراد أن يتزوجها، فقيل له لا تفعل فإنه يخشى أن تجذبك إلى مذهبها، فقال بل سأسعى لجذبها إلى السنة. فما لبث أن صار معتزليا، بل أثنى على قاتل علي رضي الله تعالى عنه، أعني بهذا عمران بن حطان الذي قال في قاتل علي عبد الرحمن بن ملجم، قال يا ضربة من تقي ما أراد بها إلا ليبلغ من ذي العرش سلطانا، يثني على قتل علي بن أبي طالب. انظر كيف جذبته إلى مذهب المعتزلة في التكفير بالكبيرة، ومع أن علي لم يرتكب كبيرة، لكن هذا قصور فهم أهل البدع. لذلك ينبغي النظر إلى التدين من جهة كونه موافقا لهدي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اعتقادا وتعبدا ومعاملة وسلوكا ومنهجا، نعم، سواء الرجل أو المرأة كلاهما.
And when we talk about the rectification or the uprightness of the man or the woman's religion and their character, this isn't just a plain uprightness. Rather, it's an uprightness and a goodness that's in conformity to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah, the example of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So it's not that they should just simply be practicing Islam. Rather, they should be individuals who are upon the oneness of Allah, the belief of Tawheed, Tawheed. So the belief of Allah the Most High being one, and they should be upon this guidance. We can see an example of the dangers of not doing this in one of the stories from one of the narrators of Hadith, who he really wanted to marry his cousin on his father's side, and it was known that she was of a particular stance in Islam. She belonged to the deviated group, the Mu'tazila, Mutazillah, and she ascribed to the views of this group. So he was advised, this narrator of Hadith, he was advised not to pursue her in marriage, and he was advised and warned against it. But he said, no, what will happen? I will influence her, and through our marriage, I will bring her to the Sunnah, and I will rectify her manhaj, her methodology, and her aqidah, her belief. So he went ahead and he got married to her. And what happened when they got married? he was unable to influence her, but she was the one who influenced him. So from his being from the people of the Sunnah, he went and he started taking up the ideas and the belief of the Mu'tazila, Mutazillah. And this was to the extent that his deviation reached. He praised the person who killed the righteous guided Caliph Ali ibn Abi Talib. The one who killed Ali, he praised. And he left the Sunnah, and he adopted the stance of this group that the individual who does a major sin leaves the fold of Islam, because the one who killed Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, was of the opinion that Ali had committed a major sin, whereas this was not true. But this narrator of hadith, because he had changed, he held this stance and he held it to be true. So when we say that the individual should be of upright religion and character, this is religion and character that is in conformity and in agreement with the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And it's a conformity that is in their belief, in their conduct, in their character, and in their methodology. It's a wholesale conformity, and it's something that should apply to the male and the female equally.
ومن أحكام النكاح أنه لا يصح إلا بولي، كما جاء في الحديث عند ابن ماجه عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: أيما امرأة لم ينكحها الولي فنكاحها باطل فنكاحها باطل فنكاحها باطل، فإن أصابها فلها مهرها بما أصاب منها، فإن اشتجروا فالسلطان ولي من لا ولي له. أي إن لم يكن لها ولي، أو أن الولي أراد أن يعضلها يمنعها من الزواج لمصلحة نفسه، ربما تكون ذات مال أو كذا، فإن لها الحق أن ترفع أمرها إلى الولي المسلم الحاكم المسلم، فهو يقوم مقام الولي وينكحها من رجل صالح.
And from the rulings of marriage is that marriage is not correct except through, on the woman's side, except through a male guardian, the wali, W-A-L-I. And this is due to the hadith that was collected by Ibn Majah, I-B-N-M-A-J-A-H, on the authority of Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, any woman who marries herself without her male guardian, then her marriage is false, her marriage is false, her marriage is false. I.e., it does not, it's not a binding contract. وشيخنا إذا وقع إذا يعني إذا
زوجت نفسها إذا جامع فلها الماء، يعني ينفصلان ولا يحق له أن يطالب بالمهر.
لا يحق له.
لا يحق له.
And if they لا يحق له يعني الزوج.
أي ينفصلان لأن العقد باطل وليس له حق في استرجاع المهر.
So if they do get married and there is no male who has facilitated the marriage on the woman's side, and they consummate the marriage, then they're to be split up. And in this case, the man, because the contract was false and it was incorrect, the man has no right to seek the dowry that he gave her. So he cannot have that dowry that he gave her back because she married herself without a male representative and the marriage was false. And then the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said that if she hasn't got someone, a male representative, then the ruler takes place of the male representative for those who don't have one.
ومن أحكام النكاح أيضا عفوا ويجوز لولي المرأة أن يوكل غيره إن كان بعيدا أو مشغولا أو غير قادر، يعني به عجز بدني أو شيء، فيجوز له أن يوكل، يجوز له أن يوكل وإن كان حاضرا، يجوز له أن يوكل، لما جاء عن أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وكل أبا رافع في تزويجه ميمونة أم المؤمنين، وكل أبا رافع في تزويجه ميمونة، ووكل عمرو بن أمية في تزويجه أم حبيبة رضي الله عنهما أمهات المؤمنين. نعم. وكل عمرو بن أمية في تزويجه أم حبيبة، أي في تزويج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أم حبيبة.
And it's permitted for the male representative who will marry off the female that he is responsible for, it's permitted for them to nominate someone else to act as their guardian. So they can nominate someone else to fulfill this role in getting the contract done. And this is if they are not present, or if they are not, or this can be if they're not present, or if they're not, or if they're far away, or if they are unable to. So if there is a barrier to them physically being present, then they can do this. However, even if the wali or the natural guardian is present, he can still do this. So there is some leniency. They can nominate someone individually to carry out this this responsibility for the woman. And the evidence of this is that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, allowed Abu Rafi', Abu Rafi, to act as the male guardian when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, married Maymuna, and that's Maymona, Maymuna. And also the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, appointed Amr, Amr bin Umayyah, Ummayah, when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, married Habiba, Umhabiba.
ومن أحكام النكاح تقديم المهر للمرأة، فإنه كما جاء عند النسائي من حديث ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما أن علي بن أبي طالب رضي الله عنه قال: تزوجت فاطمة، أي بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رضي الله عنها، فقلت: يا رسول الله أبني بها؟ قال: أعطها شيئا، يعني من المهر أو مهر. قال: قلت: ما عندي من شيء. قال: فأين درعك الحطمية؟ أين درعك الحطمية؟ قال: قلت: هي عندي. قال: فأعطها إياه، يعني كمهرا صداق. والحديث صححه الألباني. نعم.
And also from the rulings and from the things that should be done when getting married is the giving of the dowry. And this is as reported in the hadith collected by An-Nasa'i, An-Nasai, on the authority of Ibn Abbas, Ibn-Abbas, where Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, married Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. And once the contract was done, Ali asked the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, O Messenger of Allah, may we consummate the marriage? May we go ahead now? And the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, give her something, i.e., give her something as means of a dowry. And then Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, responded and said, but I haven't got anything. I'm not in possession of wealth. And then the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, give your shield, for indeed you can use this as a dowry. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asked him to give this in the form of a dowry.
وينبغي أن يعلم أن أفضل النكاح ما كان المهر فيه يسيرا، لا أن يكون كبيرا وشاقا. قد جاء في الحديث عند أبي داود عن عقبة بن عامر رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: خير النكاح أيسره. خير النكاح أيسره، يعني أسهله مهرا، و يعني إجراءات، ما يعقد وإنما يكون بسيط من حيث المهر، من حيث الحفل أو كذا. نعم.
And the best form or the best way in which the individual can get married is when the mahar, when the dowry is something that is simple and it's not big and it's not extravagant. And also it's not cumbersome and overbearing for the one paying it. And this is as in the hadith, as in the narration collected by Imam Abu Dawood, ABUDAWOOD, on the authority of Uqba ibn Amir, UQBABINAAMIR, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, indeed, the best marriage, or the best marriage are those that are the easiest. The best marriages are those which are the easiest. So those marriages where there is a simple, there's a simple dowry, there's a simple ceremony, and there isn't too much extravagance. These are the best types of marriages.
ومن أحكام النكاح أن يعلن. إعلان النكاح كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الحديث: فرق ما بين نكاحنا ونكاح أهل الكتاب الضرب بالدف، إعلان. وجاء عند ابن ماجه من حديث عائشة رضي الله عنها أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: أعلنوا هذا النكاح، أعلنوا هذا النكاح. نعم.
And from the rulings of marriage is that the marriages or the contract should be announced. The fact that the individual has gotten married, it should be announced loud and spread widespread. And this is due to the hadith of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, where he said, indeed, the difference between the marriages that we have as Muslims and the marriages of the people of the book is the beating of the drum. And the meaning of this was that at the time they would beat the drum as a sign that someone had gotten married. And also collected by Ibn Majah, IBNMAJAH, on the authority of Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, announce or make known this wedding that has happened. Make it known to the people.
ولعلنا نختم بهذا الأمر الأخير، وهو ما يتعلق بالنفقة، سواء تجهيز البيت، بيت الزوجية، وكذلك النفقة على الزوجة من حيث الطعام والشراب واللباس والعلاج ونحو ذلك. قال الله عز وجل في سورة النساء الآية 34: الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم، وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. فالنفقة واجبة على الزوج بدءا من المهر والوليمة وتأسيس بيت الزوجية والإطعام والكسوة ونحو ذلك.
And we finished this gathering by something that we'll mention in relation to paying and the financial commitments of the husband and the wife. And that is that it's upon and where these things lie. So things like the establishment of the marital home, things like the food and drink, things like clothing, things like medical treatment. So who is this upon? Allah the Most High says in the chapter of the women in the Quran, indeed men are the caretakers of women, as men have been provisioned by Allah over women and tasked with supporting them financially. So here, Allah the Most High explicitly states that the responsibility for the financial well-being of the family home and the family and the woman, the husband has been tasked with all of this. And this is beginning with the dowry payment that's made. So it's upon the man to provide this. Then the marital celebration, the walima, W-A-L-I-M-A, W-A-L-I-M-A, the walima celebration. Then following on from this, the establishment of the family home. And then following on from this, the feeding, the food and the drink. Then following on from that, the clothing and the medical treatment. All of these things are obligatory upon the male to do.
ومما يدل أيضا على وجوب الإسكان على الزوج قول الله عز وجل في الآية السادسة من سورة الطلاق أسكنوهن من حيث سكنتم من وجدكم.
And also an indication and a proof that it's obligatory upon the man to establish the household and to provide accommodation and somewhere for the female to live is the 6th verse in the chapter of the divorce, at-talaq, T-A-L-A-Q, where Allah the Most High says that, which means let them live where you live during their waiting period, according to your means. According to your means, and do not harass them to make their stay unbearable. So here Allah the Most High says to let them live where you live.
وأيضا النفقة واجبة على الزوج بقدر استطاعته، يعني بقدر ما وسع الله عليه. ويدل على ذلك الآية السابعة من سورة الطلاق من قوله عز وجل لينفق ذو سعة من سعته.
And also the spending is obligatory. The spending financially generally is obligatory upon the husband. And the indication of that is in the 7th verse of the very same chapter of the Quran, at-talaq, T-A-L-A-Q, where Allah the Most High says that which means let the man of wealth provide according to his means. So as much as they are able to, this is what's obligatory upon the man.
ولعل في هذا القدر كفاية، ونسأل الله عز وجل أن يصلح أحوال الأسر جميعا، أزواجا وذرية وجيران وأصهارا وأرحاما وأنساب. نسأل الله أن يجمعهم دائما على طاعته وعلى التراحم فيما بينهم، وأن يجمعهم على الألفة والمودة والمحبة، وأن يباعد عنهم نزغات الشيطان وإفساد المفسدين من بني الإنسان. والله تعالى أعلم، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. وإن شاء الله المشايخ سيتطرقون لمواضيع أخرى مما هو متعلق بأمر الأسرة بإذن الله تعالى. نفع الله عز وجل بما قلنا وبما يقول المشايخ، نفعنا جميعا بذلك متحدثين ومستمعين. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين، صلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه.
And we will suffice with this, and we ask Allah the Most High to rectify our families, to rectify our children, and make them all upon obedience and goodness to Him. We ask Him to spread mutual love amongst all of those that we care for and our families, and distance them from the whisperings of the devils, and also the actions of those from the children of Adam who seek to cause fitna, trials and tribulations amongst them. And over the course of this seminar, there will be other topics related to the family that the other mashayikh, the other people of knowledge, will put forward to you. May Allah the Most High give us the success to benefit from this, and to seek goodness from it. And our last supplication and our last call is that all praises are due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds, and may He shower peace and salutations and blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and upon his family and companions to the day of resurrection.
ننبه إلى أمر، وهو أن اليوم كل اليوم يتعلق بالأسرة، فالأسئلة نجعلها في آخر اليوم، وأرجو أن تكون أسئلة مكتوبة ويشار في أعلاها برقم 1 لهذه المحاضرة، رقم 2 للمحاضرة الثانية، رقم 3 للمحاضرة الثالثة، حتى يعلم من المتحدث حتى يحال السؤال إليه فيجيب.
So we should also note that this seminar is to do with the family, and there are going to be questions about this. We'll save up the questions until the last day. I asked
آخر اليوم.
So until the last session of the day. So if you can write down your questions, and at the top, if you can put the number of the lecture that the question is related to. So for example, this is the first lecture, so you'll write number 1 at the top. If you have a question about the next one, then you write number 2 at the top, so that we know when we compile all of the questions, we'll know which of the mashayikh will answer which question.
جزاكم الله خير، بارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.